100 episode series on all things Turo. So you want to get started on Turo and you want to figure out how do you do that in such a way so that it doesn't really end up with too much of a financial liability, or so that you don't get yourself in a pickle where you end up owing a bunch of money or you can't afford it. And listen, no one wants to be in a bad financial situation. We want to be smart and utilize all the tools at our disposal to make the best possible decisions. Now, personally, the best advice from doing this for 9 years that I can give anyone that's starting out on Turo is, if you have a personal car that you can just sort of test with comfortably, I think that is one of the best things that you can do, right? You get the highest host protection plan through Turo so that you don't have to worry about if any incidents do occur. You're fully covered during a Turo rental. And that way you really get the essence of what it's like hosting a vehicle on Turo and potentially interacting with other guests, and what that hosting experience, means to you, and if it's something you actually enjoy. Because at the end of the day, if you don't actually like that hosting experience and you go out and you buy a car, then you are financially committed into something that you don't love doing, and that is just going to result in you doing not such a great job at it, right? Because if it's something that we're not into, it's very hard to wake up day in and day out and have that motivation to provide a great experience and to deal with people and to deal with the ups and downs of business. You have to have that energy and motivation to deliver a superior experience so that your guests have a good experience, so that you have a good experience, so that you maintain your cars, you keep them clean, and that people leave you great reviews, resulting in this domino effect and a virtuous cycle of you getting more bookings and having a thriving business. That's why I really think that if you have a personal car, which is exactly how I started out on Turo. I used to have a smart card back then, and I remember it was a $99 per month lease, and I just listed it to see how I liked it. I just wanted to sort of experiment and test it, and it didn't create any additional financial liability for myself because I didn't go out and buy a car. It was a car that I had. I was working from home at the time, building my software company. And so I was just like, let me just list it. I don't drive that much. I can part ways with it, a few days out of the week. And that's what really kicked things off for me. Okay, but let's just say, you're saying, okay, Saimah, well, I don't have a personal car that I can use, or, maybe a personal car that you have is one that you're not comfortable with listing. And I do think that actually I want to go out and purchase a vehicle specifically for this purpose of listing it on Turo. What do I do? Well, then my next main point of advice for anyone that's looking to do this is to make sure you understand what you can comfortably afford, again, to avoid financial liability, so that you don't end up in a position to where you financially cannot afford whatever the expense of that car is. Whether you're buying it outright with cash, whether you're having a car payment, financing, leasing, doesn't matter how you acquire it, you still have to be able to comfortably afford whatever that financial commitment is. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I cannot express this to you guys enough. I have dealt with thousands and thousands of hosts throughout the years, people in completely different situations, and I've seen a lot. And so that is the one thing that, for those of you that are just starting out, I just want to make sure that I put this out there, that you want to be very careful, okay? It's really crucial because you don't want to take on that stress. So one of the things that I absolutely love here is nerdwallet.com. They do this awesome car affordability calculator. Now, let's say you're going the route of maybe financing or leasing, and of course you can buy cash as well, depending on what your situation is. They have this calculator that is going to allow you to figure out, how much can you afford. So if you want to work it backwards, usually what the experts will recommend is that a car payment should be about 10 to 15% of your monthly income, right? That is putting yourself in a position to where it's super secure and you don't have to stress too much about making that payment. So if you take 10 to 15% of your income per month and you realize, okay, that's going to be around, let's just say, the $400 mark. And you want to finance a vehicle, let's say, on average for 60 months, which is an average car loan, then you're looking at a car that is roughly about, $20,000 to $21,000, right? Especially with today's interest rates. So this is going to allow you to figure out, well, here, based on my financial situation, this is what I can comfortably afford. And knowing that, that's where you take the next step of, okay, this is my affordability. Here is my budget. This is the bracket that I can purchase something in or finance something in or, buy outright, whatever it might be. Now let me go and see, is there a car that fits this affordability, this budget in my market that can then allow me to list on the platform and turn a profit? So there are very simple ways of working this, but we are doing this backwards in comparison to what most people do. Most people who join the platform, they will go out there like, oh my God, I love that car. And it's more of an emotional decision. And unfortunately, it's not always kind of like that glitz and glamour of like, let me get this cool car and list it on Turo and it's going to rent out and I won't have to worry about the car payment, because it does really wildly depend on the market that you are in. So now we take this information, we have all the tools that we need, and then we're going to go out into the market in our area and see, okay, well, what are renters looking for and what is their demand for? And are those cars available in my budget? And if they are, then we take the next step of, okay, how do you actually go out into the car market and secure that deal, right? And make that dream really become a reality, if you will. So in the next video, which you can catch right here, you're going to figure out, and I'm going to walk you through it, how to do that market research to find a car that actually is heavily sought after, that people want to rent, and then it's also within your budget, really putting you in a super smart position to get into this business, to do it right, and to not end up with any financial liability.